Greetings and God bless. I have just been discovering that it seems like Overdrive is trying to erase Temple Grandin as the author of Animals in Translation. And, you know, sometimes there's a typo, there's an editing mistake in any database, but you correct it. Temple is the main voice in Animals in Translation. She speaks in the I, first person, and it is about her work. But for some reason, Overdrive is listing this lady, Catherine, who I guess is the ghostwriter. Maybe he was her writing coach, maybe he was somebody significant. But when Temple Grandin's book and all the material, all the media about her book, it was her. It was Temple Grandin. Movies were made, It wasn't this Catherine lady. But in my just little request, hey, Overdrive, you made a mistake. Temple need to be the first name, not the second. And Overdrive tells me, oh, that's okay. Her name shows up at all. Now, for all of you authors that went through all the process, that went through all the shenanigans and the contracts and the news interviews and the movie deals and the whatever. So you're fine with your ghostwriter being listed, given the credit for your book that has you speaking of yourself? Like that book is a very personal book. It's not some like, how do we do statistics? Blah blah blah. This is a book about this woman's life. I feel like Overdrive is discriminating against Temple. I don't know if it's because she's white. I don't know if it's because she's a biological woman, or I wonder if it's a because she has a disability, because she's autistic. So Overdrive thinks that they can pull this kind of thing on Temple Grandin and her book, Animals in Translation. It's unreal and it's despicable. Overdrive, you are not being a good book company. There's shame on you. Correct your information. Don't poo poo who is the first person. In any kind of book that any author that has their name and that where it's biographical, like it's like autobiographical. So no person who is like that, it's not a biography. It's sort of like an autobiography, and it's just shame on you, Overdrive, and stop being lazy. Whoever's in charge, all you got to do is go into that page and make a correction. And if you don't know how to do that, then you hire somebody, because um, that's just not. It's just so unprofessional. And you don't, and if you can't do it, don't say it's adequate. You say, we messed up. We don't know how our technology works anymore. Our database has a mind of its own and it should be changed, and we can't. Okay. It is unacceptable for you, Overdrive, to think that it's okay for you to have the incorrect author of a personal autobiographical book. Um, anyways, just want to let you know, if you're an author and you think, oh yeah, I'll do an audiobook and I'll have it on Overdrive. Well, you may not be the main author. Your co-author might show up as the main author, maybe because you're white, maybe because you're a biological woman, maybe because you're disabled. Maybe because you don't fit into the current narrative that's the woke culture, perhaps. And the thing is, it's possible that Temple does fit, but it's not working because the Overdrive is ignoring that she's the author. Whatever that means. But she's who that book's about. It's who wrote that book. She gave the content for that book. And just as somebody who reads, like if you like Ursula Le Guin or J.R.R. Tolkien, imagine that, well, their ghostwriter Jim Jones or Mary Stewart, they wrote, that's who wrote Wizard of Earthsea, Jim James, and Marcia Smith wrote Lord of the Rings. So if Marcia Smith wrote Lord of the Rings, how would you feel? If Jim Jones wrote Wizard of Earthsea, how would you feel? You'd be like, well, that's the wrong book. Because that's what happened to me. I was just looking it up, and I'm like, Animals in Translation is not written by a Catherine. And then I wrote to them, and I'm like, that's the wrong author. And they were like, oh, yeah, well, no, that's correct. It's not, you know? Um, as somebody who's really devoted to books, this you have to have the right author. And the fact that I have to even explain, the fact that I have to even wonder why they won't even bother to have the correct address, um, it's just weird. We are devolving. It's anarchy right now in our world. If it's too much for a library database to have the correct author's name, and just think about it. If you like Henry Miller, if Marcia Smith wrote your favorite Henry Miller book, or just think about it. So, anyways, what do you guys think? Does it matter to having the correct author when it's a very personal book and your name appears and your whole personal life story appears? Does it matter that you're not listed as the person even though you were the author, and all the media has you as the author, but for some reason a database doesn't want to list you as the author? Like, does it matter? Let me know. Thanks for watching. God bless.